I spent 3 years saving every penny I could to buy my first car, working double shifts at the warehouse, skipping nights out with friends, eating ramen for dinner, more times than I care to admit. When I finally held the keys to that 2018 Toyota Camry in navy blue, I felt like I had conquered the world. It was mine, paid for with my own sweat and sacrifice. But that morning when I walked into my garage and saw the empty space where my car should have been, my stomach dropped. The spare key I kept in the kitchen drawer was gone, and I knew exactly who took it. Before we get into what happened next, let me know in the comments where you are watching this from. Hit that like button and subscribe, because you will not believe what happened when I called the police and what my own family did to try and destroy my life. Trust me, this story gets darker than you can imagine. That morning started like any other Tuesday. My alarm went off at 6:30 a.m. and I dragged myself out of bed already, mentally preparing for another long day at the distribution center where I worked as a logistics coordinator. I had landed this job right out of community college, and it was not glamorous, but it paid the bills and let me finally afford that car I had dreamed about since I was 16. I went through my usual routine: shower, coffee, check my phone for any overnight messages from work. Then I grabbed my keys from the hook by my bedroom door and headed down to the garage. That is when my world tilted sideways. The spot where I always parked my Camry was completely empty. Just a faint oil stain on the concrete floor and nothing else. My first thought was that maybe I was losing my mind. Had I parked it somewhere else? But no, I remembered clearly pulling into the garage the night before after getting groceries. I even remembered making a mental note to wash it over the weekend because it was getting dusty. I ran back upstairs, my heart pounding. I checked the key hook again. My primary key was still there right where I left it. Then I went to the kitchen and pulled open the drawer where I kept my spare key. Empty. The small blue keychain with the Toyota logo that had been sitting in that drawer for months was gone. Only 3 people knew about that spare key: my parents, Frank and Linda, and my younger brother, Tyler. Tyler was 22, still living in our parents' house just 15 minutes from my apartment, and he had a history of borrowing things without asking. Money from our mother's purse, Dad's tools, my video games when we were kids. But a car. This was different. This was theft. I pulled out my phone and called Tyler. It rang 6 times before going to voicemail. I tried again. Same thing. The knot in my stomach tightened. Next, I called my mom. She picked up on the 3rd ring, her voice groggy. It was barely 7 a.m. "Art, what is wrong?" "Mom, is Tyler there?" "No, honey. He went out with some friends last night. He has not come home yet." "Why?" "My car is missing, and the spare key is gone." There was a pause. Then I heard her sigh, that familiar sound she always made when Tyler did something questionable. "Art, are you sure you did not park it somewhere else? Maybe you forgot." "I am positive, Mom, and the spare key that was in my kitchen drawer is missing. Only you, Dad, and Tyler knew where I kept it." "Well, I did not take it," she said, her voice getting defensive. "And your father would not do that." "What about Tyler?" Another sigh. "Art, do not start. You know how things are between you two. Can you please not jump to conclusions?" That was the thing about my family. Tyler could burn down a building and they would find a way to make it sound like an accident or blame someone else. When we were in high school, Tyler punched another kid during gym class and broke his nose. My parents hired a lawyer and convinced the school the other kid started it. When Tyler stole $60 from my mother's wallet, she called it borrowing and said he would pay it back. He never did. I was the older brother, the responsible one. I got decent grades, went to community college, worked full-time, paid my own rent. Tyler barely graduated high school, bounced from one part-time job to another, and still lived at home, rent-free. But somehow, in my parents' eyes, I was supposed to understand, to be patient, to give him chances. "Mom, I am calling the police to report it stolen." "Art, wait. Do not do that. just let me talk to Tyler when he gets home. I am sure there is an explanation." "The explanation is that he took my car without permission. That is called theft." I heard my dad's voice in the background. What is going on? My mom must have covered the phone because the voices got muffled. Then my dad got on the line. "Art, your mother said you think Tyler took your car." "I do not think, Dad. I know. My spare key is missing." "Why are you always suspecting your brother? Maybe you parked it somewhere else and forgot. You work a lot. You are tired. These things happen." I closed my eyes and counted to 5. "I did not forget, Dad. I'm calling the police." "Do not do that," he said sharply. "You will embarrass this family over nothing. Just wait until Tyler gets home. We will sort this out." But I was done waiting. I was done being the understanding older brother. I hung up and dialed the non-emergency police line. The dispatcher was professional and calm. I gave her all the details. Navy blue 2018 Toyota Camry, license plate number, vehicle identification number from my registration. I explained about the missing spare key and mentioned that I suspected my brother might have taken it, though I did not have proof yet. She said an officer would add it to the system as a stolen vehicle and that they would keep an eye out. She asked if I wanted to file a formal report in person. I said yes. She told me I could come down to the station any time that day. After I hung up, I sat on my couch and stared at my phone. I tried calling Tyler 4 more times. Nothing. I texted him. No response. I called my supervisor at work and explained the situation. He was understanding and told me to take the day to sort it out. 2 hours passed, then 3. I kept checking my phone, kept looking out the window as if my car would magically appear. Around 10:30 a.m., my neighbor Marcus knocked on my door. He worked from home and had seen me pacing. "Everything okay, man? You look stressed." I explained the situation. Marcus shook his head. "That is messed up. You need a ride somewhere." "Actually, yeah. Can you take me to the police station? I need to file a report in person." "Sure thing. Give me 5 minutes." While I waited, I tried Tyler one more time. Still nothing. I felt this sinking certainty in my gut that whatever was happening, it was not going to end well. We were halfway to the police station when my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. "Is this Art Sullivan?" "Yes, this is Art." "This is Officer Davis with the County Sheriff's Department. I am calling about your vehicle, the 2018 Toyota Camry you reported stolen this morning." My chest tightened. "Did you find it?" "We did. Unfortunately, it was involved in a traffic accident on Highway 41 around 11 a.m. today. The vehicle struck a center median divider. The driver fled the scene on foot before we arrived." I felt like someone had punched me in the stomach. "Is the car okay?" "It sustained significant front-end damage. The airbags deployed. We also found several empty beer bottles inside the vehicle, which suggests the driver may have been under the influence." My hands started shaking. "Where is it now?" "It has been towed to the impound lot on Industrial Boulevard. But Mr. Sullivan, I need you to come down to the station. We need to talk." "I am actually on my way there right now to file the stolen vehicle report." There was a pause. "I see. Well, when you arrive, ask for me. Officer Davis. We need to clarify some things." He hung up. Marcus glanced at me. "What happened?" "Tyler crashed my car, drunk, then ran away." "Jesus, is he okay?" "I do not know. I do not even care right now." That was a lie. Despite everything, he was still my brother. But the anger was overwhelming everything else. When we got to the station, I thanked Marcus and told him I would find my own way home. I walked inside, told the front desk officer I was there to see Officer Davis. She made a call, then directed me to a small interview room. Officer Davis was a middle-aged man with graying hair and a no-nonsense expression. He gestured for me to sit. "Mr. Sullivan, thank you for coming in. I understand you reported your vehicle stolen at approximately 7:05 a.m. this morning." "That is correct." He looked down at some papers in front of him. "Were you driving your car this morning around 11 a.m.? No, like I said, it was stolen. I reported it missing 7 hours before the accident happened. Officer Davis leaned back in his chair. That is interesting because your father called us about an hour ago. My blood went cold. My father, yes, Frank Sullivan, he called to report that you were the one driving the vehicle this morning. He said you have been struggling with alcohol abuse and that you caused the accident while under the influence, then fled home in a panic. He was very concerned about your well-being. I could not breathe. I literally could not form words. My own father had just tried to frame me for a crime Tyler committed. That is not true, I finally managed to say. I was not driving. I have not touched alcohol in weeks. I was at work until I realized my car was missing. Your father seemed quite certain. He even mentioned finding an empty whiskey bottle in your bedroom. Tyler must have planted it there, or my dad did. The room started spinning. Officer Davis, I have an alibi. I was at work this morning. I can give you my supervisor's phone number, my co-workers' names. The security cameras in our parking lot will show me arriving in my co-worker's car at 7:50 a.m. My time card will show I clocked in at 8 a.m. There is no way I could have been driving my car at 11. Officer Davis studied me carefully. Why would your father lie? Because he is protecting my brother Tyler. Tyler stole my car. Tyler drove drunk and crashed it. Tyler ran away. And now my parents are trying to pin it on me so Tyler does not go to jail for his second DUI. Second. He got his first one 2 years ago when he was 20. Crashed into a mailbox. My parents paid for a lawyer who got it reduced, but a second DUI that is serious jail time, so they are sacrificing me instead. Officer Davis wrote something down. I will need to verify your alibi. Give me the contact information for your employer. I rattled off my supervisor's name and number, the company address, everything. Officer Davis made several calls right there while I sat in stunned silence. I heard him talking to my boss, confirming that, yes, I was at work all morning. Yes, the cameras would show me arriving. Yes, my time card was accurate. When he hung up, his expression had changed, less suspicious, more concerned. Mr. Sullivan, your alibi checks out. You were definitely at work when the accident occurred, which means someone is lying, and filing a false police report is a serious crime. It was my father, I said quietly, and probably my mother too. They are trying to save Tyler. Officer Davis nodded slowly. We are going to need to bring your brother in for questioning, and your father. Do you know where Tyler might be? Probably at my parents' house, 1523 Maple Street. He made another call. I heard him dispatch officers to my parents' address. Then he looked at me. Mr. Sullivan, I am sorry you are going through this. Family situations like this are always the hardest. But I want you to know that we will get to the bottom of this. The truth matters. I just nodded. I did not trust myself to speak. Because if I opened my mouth, I was going to either scream or cry, and I did not want to do either in front of this police officer. He told me I could go, but to stay available. They might need me to come back to give a formal statement. I walked out of the station in a daze. I took a bus to my parents' house. I needed to see this for myself. I needed to look Tyler in the eye. When I walked in without knocking, I found Tyler sitting on the couch in the living room. His face was scratched up, his right hand wrapped in a bandage. He looked up when I entered, and for a second I saw guilt flash across his face. You stole my car and crashed it, I said. My voice was eerily calm. Tyler did not say anything, just looked down at his hands. My father stood up from his recliner. Do not yell at your brother. He made a mistake. A mistake. I turned to face him. He stole my car, drove drunk, caused an accident that could have killed someone, and then ran away like a coward. And you tried to frame me for it. My mother came out of the kitchen, her eyes red from crying. Art, please. We are trying to protect this family. Tyler already has one DUI on his record. Another one will send him to jail, real jail, not just probation. So you thought you would send me instead? My father stepped closer. You are stronger than him. You can handle this. Tyler is still young. He has his whole life ahead of him. You have a good job. You are stable. You can bounce back from probation, but Tyler, this would ruin him. I stared at my father like I was seeing him for the first time. This man who taught me to ride a bike, who came to my little league games, who told me to always do the right thing. And now he was asking me to go to jail for a crime I did not commit. You already told the police I did it, I said. He nodded. It is done, Art. Just go with it. We will hire you a lawyer. We will make sure you get a good deal. Maybe just probation and community service. It will be okay. And what about my car, my insurance, my job? You think they will keep me if I have a DUI conviction? We will figure it out, my mother said desperately. Please, Art. He is your brother. I looked at Tyler again. He still would not meet my eyes, would not defend me, would not tell them to stop. He just sat there letting our parents destroy my life to save his. No, I said. What? My father's face reddened. No, I am not doing this. I am not taking the fall for Tyler. Not this time. Not ever again. Art, you do not understand what you are doing, my mother pleaded. I understand perfectly. You are asking me to lie to destroy my future, to go to jail, so that Tyler does not have to face the consequences of his actions. Again, just like you always do. He is family, my father said. Family protects each other. Then where were you when I needed protection, when I needed help paying for college, when I needed a car to get to work and had to save for 3 years while you bought Tyler a gaming computer for Christmas? Family protects each other. You have never protected me. You have only ever protected him. I walked out before they could respond, got on another bus, went home, and sat in my apartment staring at the wall, trying to figure out what to do next. I did not sleep that night. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, replaying every moment from my childhood when Tyler got away with something, and I was expected to just deal with it. The time he broke my laptop and my parents said it was an accident. The time he told everyone at school that I cheated on a test and my parents said, boys will be boys. The time he stole my savings to buy concert tickets and my mom said I should be more understanding because Tyler was going through a hard time. I was always the one expected to understand, to forgive, to sacrifice, not anymore. The next morning I called a lawyer. I found one who offered free consultations and explained my situation. His name was Mr. Patterson, and he listened carefully without interrupting. When I finished, he said, "You have a strong case, Art. With a solid alibi and the evidence we can gather, there is no way they can pin this on you. But your father and brother are going to face serious charges. Are you prepared for that?" "Yes," I said without hesitation. "All right, here is what we need to do." Over the next 2 days, I worked with Mr. Patterson to build an ironclad defense. We gathered my time card from work, showing I clocked in at 8 a.m. hours before the accident. We got the security camera footage from my workplace parking lot, showing me arriving in Marcus's car at 7:50 a.m. We collected written statements from my supervisor, and 3 co-workers confirming I was at work all morning, never left the building, and could not possibly have been driving on Highway 41 at 11 a.m. We also got my phone records showing I called to report the car stolen at 7:05 a.m., hours before the accident happened. But I did not stop there. I wanted evidence against Tyler, too. I logged into Facebook and found Tyler's profile. Sure enough, there was a check-in from the night before the accident at a bar called the Rusty Nail at 10:30 p.m. He had posted "getting wasted tonight" with a photo of himself holding a beer bottle, his eyes already glazed and red. I screenshot everything and sent it to Mr. Patterson. With all this evidence, Mr. Patterson contacted Officer Davis and requested a meeting. We went to the police station together. Officer Davis reviewed everything carefully, his expression growing grimmer with each document. "This is substantial," he said. "With this evidence, there is no question that you were not the driver, Mr. Sullivan. I am going to reopen the investigation and bring your father and brother in for formal questioning." 2 days later, Officer Davis called both my parents and Tyler to the station. I was not there, but Mr. Patterson was, and he told me what happened. When confronted with my alibi evidence, my father initially tried to claim the timestamps were wrong, that maybe I left work early and drove the car. But the evidence was overwhelming, the cameras, the witnesses. The phone records. Officer Davis did not mince words. "Sir, you deliberately filed a false police report. You lied to law enforcement with the intent to frame your innocent son for a crime your other son committed. That is obstruction of justice. That is a felony." My mother broke down crying and admitted the truth. She said Tyler came home that morning terrified with scratches all over his face and his hand injured. He told them what happened. They panicked. They knew a second DUI would send Tyler to jail for real this time. So my father came up with the plan to blame me. He thought because I was the responsible one, because I had a clean record, I would get a lighter sentence. He thought I could handle it. Tyler was brought in separately. When shown the evidence and told his parents had confessed, he finally admitted everything. He took the spare key from my kitchen drawer the night before when he stopped by to borrow $20, which I had refused to give him. He was angry, went out drinking with friends, and around 10:45 p.m., he decided to take my car for a joyride. He drove drunk, lost control on Highway 41, struck the median divider at high speed. The airbags deployed and hurt his hand. He panicked, grabbed the empty beer bottles to hide the evidence, and ran. He called our parents from a payphone, and they picked him up. That is when they hatched the plan to frame me. They planted an empty whiskey bottle in my apartment while I was at the police station that first day. They coordinated their story. They were willing to destroy my life to save Tyler's. Officer Davis arrested Tyler on multiple charges: grand theft auto driving, under the influence hit and run, and leaving the scene of an accident with property damage. Because it was his second DUI, the charges were enhanced. My father was arrested for filing a false police report and obstruction of justice. My mother was not charged, but she had to testify against both of them. I should have felt victorious, but mostly I just felt empty. The legal process took months. Tyler was offered a plea deal, plead guilty to all charges in exchange for 18 months in county jail, followed by 3 years of probation. He took it. His lawyer said if he went to trial, he could get up to 5 years in state prison. My father was offered 6 months in county jail and 2 years of probation for the false report and obstruction charges. He also took the deal. The insurance company paid out for my totaled Camry. After the deductible and the payout, I had enough to put a down payment on a used 2019 Honda Accord. It was silver, had low mileage, and it was mine. My mother called me almost every day, crying, begging me to talk to her. I eventually answered. She apologized over and over. She said she made a terrible mistake, that she was just trying to protect Tyler, that she never meant to hurt me. I told her I accepted her apology, but I needed space, a lot of space. I could not just forgive and forget what they did. "You tried to send me to prison," I said. "You were willing to destroy my entire future to save Tyler from the consequences of his own actions. That is not love, Mom. That is not family. I do not know what that is, but it is not right." She cried harder, but did not argue. I did not visit Tyler in jail, not once. I did not visit my father either. I sent my mother a card on her birthday, but I did not call. For a while I felt lost. I would wake up in the middle of the night with my heart racing, replaying the moment Officer Davis told me my father had tried to frame me. I would sit at work and suddenly feel this crushing weight on my chest, this realization that the people who were supposed to love me most in the world had been willing to sacrifice me without hesitation. I started seeing a therapist. Her name was Dr. Helen Marks, and she specialized in family trauma. She helped me understand that what my parents did was not normal, that the pattern of favoritism and scapegoating had been there my whole life, and this was just the most extreme example. "They made you the strong one," she explained in one session. "They put that label on you when you were a child, and they used it to justify taking from you and giving to Tyler. They convinced themselves that you did not need as much because you were capable. But everyone needs support. Everyone deserves to be protected by their family. She helped me set boundaries. I wrote a letter to my parents, which I never sent, but writing it helped. In it, I explained how their favoritism had affected me my whole life. How I always felt like I had to earn their love while Tyler got it for free. How I was tired of being the responsible one, the understanding one, the one who always had to sacrifice. Dr. Marks also connected me with a support group for people dealing with toxic family dynamics. I met others who had similar stories, parents who played favorites, siblings who were enabled into destructive behavior, people who had to make the painful choice between family loyalty and self-preservation. One guy, Marcus, he was not my neighbor. Marcus, but a different Marcus, became a good friend. His parents had tried to make him co-sign a loan for his brother's failing business, and when he refused, they cut him off completely. He understood what it felt like to be seen as the villain for refusing to be a victim. I started taking better care of myself. I joined a gym and went 3 times a week. I started hiking on weekends, driving my new Accord out to state parks and spending hours in the woods clearing my head. I got a promotion at work to a supervisor position with a decent raise. Slowly, I started to feel like myself again. Not the self I was before, because that person was gone, but a new self, stronger, more aware, less willing to accept being treated as less than. Tyler got out of jail after 14 months for good behavior. He sent me a letter. It was handwritten 3 pages long, and it was the most honest thing he had ever said to me. He wrote, "I know sorry is not enough. I know I destroyed your trust and almost destroyed your life. I was selfish and weak, and I let Mom and Dad make excuses for me my whole life. They treated you like you did not need anything because you were strong, and they treated me like I could not handle anything because I was weak. And I let them. I became exactly what they said I was, a screw-up who could not take responsibility. But I am trying to change now. I am going to AA meetings. I am working at a warehouse. I am trying to be better. I do not expect you to forgive me. I just wanted you to know that I see what I did, and I am sorry." I read that letter 5 times. I did not respond right away. I needed to think. A month later, I agreed to meet Tyler for coffee, neutral ground, a cafe downtown. He looked different, thinner. His eyes were clearer. He had a humility about him that I had never seen before. We sat across from each other, awkward at first. Then he said, "Thank you for meeting me. I read your letter. I meant every word." We talked for an hour. He told me about jail, about finally having to face what he did without our parents there to shield him. He told me about the AA meetings, about learning that his drinking was not just a phase or a mistake, but a real problem. He told me he was living in a sober living house, working 40 hours a week, saving money. I told him I did not hate him, but I could not go back to how things were. "I do not expect that," he said. "I just want a chance to show you I am different. Even if it takes years, even if you never fully trust me again, I just want to try." I nodded. "Okay, we can try." It has been a slow process. We text sometimes. We meet for coffee every few months. I have not been back to my parents' house. My father got out of jail after serving his full 6 months. He sent me a letter too, but it was defensive. He said he made a mistake, but that I overreacted by pressing charges. He said family should forgive. I did not respond to his letter. My mother still calls occasionally. We have brief surface-level conversations. She asks about work. I tell her it is fine. She tells me about her garden. I say that is nice. We do not talk about what happened. Maybe someday we will, maybe not. I am okay with either outcome now, because I learned something through all of this. I learned that loving your family does not mean letting them destroy you. It does not mean sacrificing yourself on the altar of their dysfunction. It does not mean accepting mistreatment because they are blood. I learned that setting boundaries is not selfish. It is survival. It is self-respect. It is necessary. I learned that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away from people who hurt you, even if they are family, even if they raised you, even if society tells you that you owe them endless chances. I learned that I deserve to be treated with respect and dignity, and anyone who cannot offer me that does not deserve a place in my life, regardless of our DNA. Tyler is working on himself, and I respect that. I hope he continues. But our relationship will never be what it was, and that is okay. We are building something new, something based on mutual respect instead of obligation. My parents may never understand why I cannot just forgive and move on. They may always see me as the stubborn one, the unforgiving one, the one who tore the family apart. And I have made peace with that. Because I know the truth, I did not tear this family apart. They did. When they chose favoritism over fairness, when they chose enabling over accountability, when they chose to sacrifice one son to save the other, I just refused to be the sacrifice. And that decision, as painful as it was, saved my life. I still love my family, but I love myself more now. And that is not selfish. That is survival. Sometimes the people who are supposed to protect you are the ones you need protection from. And sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away, stand up, and choose yourself. So let me ask you, have you ever had to choose between family loyalty and protecting yourself? Have you ever been the scapegoat in your family? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if this story resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. Share this video with someone who might need to hear it. Thank you so much for listening to my story. I hope it reminds you that you are worth protecting even from the people you love. Take care of yourselves out there, and remember that choosing yourself is not betrayal. It is strength.